Okay. Hi, Jesse. Welcome to Girl, Let's Be Honest.
Love that. Hi, thank you.
Yeah, this podcast was specifically designed for the girls and the gays and the theys and
All right, hell yeah.
some straight men maybe, depending. Depending. If they have a good story, we want to hear it.
Okay, fair enough.
Okay.
Uh, I feel like they have
So
a
you
lot
just
of places to tell their story.
yeah, yeah, in the bathroom. Anyway. So you just got some clean time?
I did. On January 8th, I celebrated 8 years clean.
Congratulations. I'm so
I know it
happy
feels
for
so
you.
unreal.
I know. It's just like I remember, like, how much time you'd lose, like, in your addiction, but, like, nothing compares to how much time you lose, like, it just flies by when you're clean.
Yes, I mean, it was like an addiction you lose like days or weeks at a time. And I mean, I also like chronic relapse is like a part of my story, so it just also feels unreal because like I just remember, like, thinking that people that had, like, even, like, 90 days or 6 months or a single year, like, they had it and, like, they were the one, you know?
They were doing
And
it.
they knew what was going
Yeah.
on here. And, like, now that I have 8 years clean, I, like, realized that at 1 year clean, I had, like and I also at 1 year clean thought I knew, but, like, now that I have 8 years clean, I'm like, I had no idea,
No idea.
about, like, anything.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was still
And
such a
okay,
baby.
so, how old were you when you first started using?
Like, I was always pretty indeterminate with drugs from the time I was, like, maybe 15,
Okay.
and started with, like, party drugs. I started using really hard drugs, in probably, like, I don't know, I'd say, like, 2010, 2011, and so I
Yeah.
would have been, like, 19, 20, 21, somewhere in
Okay.
there, just depending on, like,
Perfect.
what you consider, like, a hard drug.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm the same. Yeah, perfect. I just mean, like, that's crazy
Yeah.
because I was, like, 18 when I first started doing heroin, and that was 2008. So our
Yeah, I was
timelines are very close.
yeah.
How
Yeah, I
old are
was, like,
you?
probably me, I'm 36.
Oh, me too. I just turned 36. Look at
Right?
us. We're
Oh, yeah.
we're kindred spirits.
Yeah, and so I was probably, like, 18, somewhere between, like, 18 and 21 when I started doing, like, really hard drugs.
Yeah. And what was your drug of choice?
Heroin and meth and Xanax, and
Okay.
sometimes crack also.
I've never tried crack.
Well, it feels like you have to go to the hospital.
Okay. I did
That's
shoot
the
up
truth.
cocaine one time, and
It's like
I
that.
thought I was gonna die. Like, I laid back and I was like, "This is it. I'm in this hotel room. I'm all by
Yeah.
myself." I, like, couldn't move, and I was like, they're gonna find me dead in here," and it was like so that maybe that's close to what it is.
No, that's exactly what it's like.
Okay. Well, actually, I have done crack just as a in utero because my mom used crack her whole pregnancy with me. Which is interesting. Yeah, that is the only drug I haven't really tried, except acid too.
My mom was addicted to meth my whole childhood, like, from the time I was, like, kindergarten-ish until I was an adult in my 20s,
Okay.
and then
Yes.
she did eventually get clean.
Yeah, my mom eventually got clean too. She went to prison, I think, when I was 2, I think the first time. I'm not sure, she's been 4 times, but it was crack, and then when she got out of prison, it was meth, and then
Isn't
it
that
just
crazy how
stayed.
drugs kind of change and progress into other drugs?
Yeah. It's
I
just, like,
always think
what's available and what's cheap, I think.
yeah, well, and, like, I think that's part of, like, the fentanyl thing right now is that fentanyl is so inexpensive and just, like, everywhere.
Well,
But,
and
like, the
it's
evolution of
probably
that's always been interesting.
yeah. It I also feel like it's probably impossible to try to get heroin anymore because fentanyl's taken over.
Yeah, I've asked some newcomers, like, what that's like, and they're like, if someone says they have heroin, it's just brown fentanyl.
That's insane.
Isn't that crazy that it just, like, doesn't exist? Like, there's no one who is like like, I had a newcomer recently tell me that, like, no one is addicted to heroin anymore because there's not enough steady supply of it. Like, just every so often someone will have it, but it's not like how it used to be.
Is, like, fentanyl withdrawals the same as heroin withdrawals?
I've never gone through fentanyl withdrawals, but from what I've seen, it's like a pretty intense version of heroin withdrawals.
Okay, because 'cause I've never met anybody who's, like, gotten clean from fentanyl because maybe you don't know, I stepped out of the program last year. I'm still clean
Oh,
and
I didn't know that, yeah.
yeah, yeah, I just, I talked about it in my last episode, but my best friend died, and anytime I would, like, go to a meeting or Ocean Shores, I don't know if I even talked to you about that's where we met at Ocean Shores and at the
at a
casino,
convention. Yeah.
and you guys just drove by and you were like, "Get in hot, bitch," and I was like, "What?"
Like, I maintain yeah, Ashley was like, "You're being weird to her," because I was, like, so obsessed,
No,
and
not at
I
all.
was like, "I'm not." I was just kept telling her, I'm like, "You're just so hot."
Thank you. Yeah, so sweet.
I
But
maintain I maintain all my behavior.
that was actually the best night that I had because I was having such a hard time with my best friend being gone that any NA function was, like, so painful for me.
Yeah,
So
and
I
I
would
think
just sit there and cry, and I was like, "I don't wanna do this anymore."
I, like, really support people who, like, take different paths to recovery, you know,
Thank
and
you.
I know that that's not always, like, the most popular opinion,
No, it's, like,
but
controversial.
it is controversial, but I, like, support, like, all paths to recovery, and,
Yeah.
like, that could look like so many things, like, I'm a big advocate for people who are on MAT, I'm a big advocate for people who decide to be clean outside of the program, like,
Mhm. Yeah.
I just think that there's, like, a lot of factors that, like, no one considers, um, and, like, I think as long as you, like, maintain community, you're gonna get the same benefit. Because
Yes.
I think the
All
program
yeah.
works like church in that way, that it's, like, the community that really is what is saving us.
Yes. And I still all of my friends are all of my friends. They have not changed. Yeah. Interesting you say that. I also think that for people who don't know, MAPS is, medication assisted program. Is that what that is?
Yeah, and medicated assistant treatment.
Treatment, thank you.
Yeah.
Tomato, tomato. But that's actually, my guest yesterday is on that and shared about that, and that's been her journey. And it's crazy because if you really think about NA as a program, it's very cult-like.
Mhm.
It's giving
I'm cold
cult, you know?
susceptible. I am a cold susceptible person,
Yes,
and
for sure.
like, maintain that. And, you know, I do have, like, a thought on that that's like, if the cult is, like, improving and continuing to improve my life, then, like, I'll drink the Kool-Aid. In fact, I'll have 2 glasses.
Yes.
You know, like, that's fine for me, but I do understand that that's not for everybody.
Right. Yeah. And then in that within that are, like, very hard lines that are drawn, often put people on the outside, which is very unfair because, yes, there are different ways, and I agree with you with that.
I also, like, hate that, like, how it feels sometimes is that when someone, like, is clean outside of the program or, like, doing their own thing outside the program, like, people are, like, preying on their downfall, like, "We'll hold a
It's
seat
so
for you,"
weird.
and, like, all this stuff, and, you know, I think it is important that I say that, like, I only represent my opinions, not the opinions of anyone else. But, you know, I think that that is such a harmful and, like, poisonous way to think about people, like, you know, like, I love meetings and I love doing service and I love Narcotics Anonymous, but, like, other people don't have the same experience as me. And, like, I
Yeah,
didn't have the same experience coming in that I have now today. And so I think that, you know, I think that, when we have this approach of, like, we're waiting for people to fail to leave, like, then what is this about? Like, are we here to save
I know.
lives or are we here to be right?
And here to gossip and, like, be weird and yeah, you're supposed to be healing and helping others and for sure. Um, okay, so heroin and meth were my drugs of choice. I started with heroin first, then I got into meth, and then, um, I rarely stopped doing meth, but I'd always, like, get tired of heroin because it's a downer.
Can't
But,
relate. Cannot relate.
and then I would just continue. I loved meth. I was, like, so happy.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Um,
Um, so talk to me. Did you ever end up in jail? Like, what was your path through your addiction?
So, I mean, it started out like I started out smoking heroin, and then once I switched to IV heroin, that's when I started doing heroin every day. So
Mhm,
after the first time I shot up, I never didn't shoot up again. I got high every day.
mhm.
And that was like a real game changer for me, and that's when it started to go kinda south, and that's when also, like, the people around me changed. When I was still smoking heroin, I was using with a lot of people that were, like, my age, and no one was really doing crime, everyone was just kinda, like, manipulating their parents and stuff like that.
Yeah,
And once I got into, like, IV use, I ended up doing, like, a lot more crime and a lot more, like, specifically, like, fraud and identity theft and things like that. and I didn't go to jail for it, but the only reason that I didn't go to jail for it is because my dad is a tattoo artist, and he found this person who was pressing charges against me and offered him a bunch of free work in exchange for dropping the charges. Um,
Oh,
and so, or else I may have gone to jail and or prison.
yeah.
Um, and so a lot of that was like my dad was cleaning up a lot of messes behind my back for me, and like, doing what he thought was best for me, but was like also kind of enabling me. But I am glad today that like I don't have a felony and that haven't been to prison. And I did kind of so I'm from Yakima, Washington. I don't know if you know that, born and raised.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So I am from Yakima, Washington. The drug culture there is a little different than here. And there's a lot of violence and there's a lot of crime. And they have North First Street is kind of like there's a bunch of hotels, and all those hotels are filled with every room people doing drugs, selling drugs. There's like a culture of that there. I did end up getting into sex work for a while when I
Okay.
was pretty young to support my addiction. I'm pretty open about that part of my story, which also
Okay.
feels crazy because like now I'm like old and chunky, and like then I was like young and hot, and
Stop.
you know, uh, so I like think back on that. I'm like, that's so crazy. You know, I
Did you
did a
only
lot of.
sleep with men or did you also sleep with women?
There's no women customers in sex work. I
I'm
mean,
just
not at least.
wondering.
Yeah, I would
Okay,
sometimes.
interesting.
I would sometimes dress up in like drag or stuff for people that were
Okay.
into that. It was mostly all men. Actually, it was all men. There was never a woman involved.
Okay.
Um, and they would sometimes come to my hotel room, or I would go to this truck stop called the Gear Jammer, which, like, I'm sure with a name like that, uh,
They had
like,
that in mind.
yeah, it's like on the
Yeah.
outside of town. And I would go around there and I'd find clients on Backpage back then, or Craigslist was another big one that I did. And so that was like its own separate journey and like its own separate journey of healing also. So
Yeah. Its
I ended
own
up
like
maintaining abstinence for the first three
section.
years of my recovery. Isn't that crazy?
Oh, that is so crazy.
Yeah.
Good for you.
I know. And like toward the end of it, I was like, okay, I'm ready to be done with abstinence, and like like then it became like not voluntary anymore.
Oh my god. Crack me up.
Scoot over.
Wait, where do you live now? Well, okay, don't give me like specifics, but
Well, yeah, I wasn't really gonna say my address.
oh please.
I live in Tacoma,
Okay.
and yeah, I moved over here to get clean, and it took a couple years to do that, and then I finally did.
Okay. Interesting. My best friend is from Tacoma. I don't know if you know that.
Who's your best friend?
Casey.
I don't know if I know them or not.
Um, yeah, we'll chat after. She's so
Oh,
funny. Yeah, her dad
right.
still has a house there.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
And I all interesting story. I also was in a very cult-like situation when I first moved here to get clean.
Oh,
Um,
let's hear it.
so my parents, I don't, I'll name drop it. I don't care. But like battlefield addiction is what it's called, and it's like they have like these different, um, so they have like a parents group the parents are a part of, and then they have like the houses, and they have like the big house, which was the boys' house, and the LBH, which is the little big house, which was like the girls' house. And they
Okay.
actually moved me from the big house to the little big house because things were getting inappropriate. Um, I was getting
Oh,
inappropriate. Boys were getting inappropriate. It was giving very early it was giving like very early recovery.
yes. Okay.
And like they teach you a lot of like come to find out like a lot of it was like not super legit, but they teach you like a lot of like mindfulness therapy stuff. And
Okay.
the guy was getting the ideas from like reading books and going to things and like teaching it to us like he had made it up. And it was just super cult like. We were community like mass food stamp fraud, where all 40 people
Okay.
would get food stamps and have to like turn them into the house, and like we were like all sharing our medications. Like so and so's feeling depressed, give him one of Aaron's meds. Um, it's crazy. It was like actually nuts. And
Did
but
you have to pay did you have to pay to stay there? Or just the food
so
stamps?
my parents did for the first 2 months, and the rent there is actually crazy, and it's still operating at $7,000 a month. Um, my
That
parents did
is a
not pay that.
cult, not cult-like.
No, it is a cult. And
Yeah, it's
there's
a
no
cult.
well, they've also gotten rid of like the IOP part of it. So it's literally just him teaching everyone everything, and there's no professionals. There's no one with any credentials there at all. And
You see
so
that in, like you see that in, like, every single cult, like, documentary. It, like, starts with this idea and, like, these professionals and this ideology, and then all of a sudden it keeps getting dwindled down, 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 and down until it's just the guy in charge.
yeah, exactly, and it's is what it did, and that is what it continues to be, but, like, also similar to other cults, like, it was, like, affordable and, like, made sense, and, like, it was, like, a structured sober living, so, like, you do sober living stuff in the morning, then you go to IOP, then you come home in the afternoon, it's free. Because 'cause I've also never been to treatment. Um, I've
Okay.
only detoxed there and then on a couch. So I've never been to a actual, like, facility. That's a lie. I have been detoxed in a facility, like, unmedicated. It was a mess. Anyways, but yeah, it's like it also used to be like $1,500 a month, and now that there's like less people working there, it's $7,000 a month, and like
That
still
is
upgrades.
so insane.
Yeah, and I ended up working there for like a year after, like, but for like at 90 days, they like were like, "You're the one," and like I started working there for about a year, um, and that was its own. That was we would see the craziest stuff. I mean, that place is. I mean, it did help save my life, and I won't say anything bad about it other than it's a little cult like and there's some weird stuff going on with food stamps and meds and stuff like that, but it did help save my life.
That's good.
It was good.
Yeah, I think with any cult, it's like people it works because it's offering something that often people are missing, so it, like, draws you in, and then you get brainwashed, and, I mean, obviously, you're just people gotta eat, so
Yeah, people from those houses are not allowed to attend 12-step meetings or like outside therapy stuff.
yeah, it seems
So yeah,
legit.
it is pretty cool. Like, and every time I describe it, I'm like, yeah, this is cool. Like, I'm always like kind of shocked. I'm like, yeah, I really was full on into that.
But he's not like because when I always think because 'cause I've seen a lot of documentaries, and so often the leader is, like, somehow sexually abusing most of the participants in some way or
No,
another, but
there's none of that.
not in that? Okay,
No,
that's
there's a
good.
lot of, like, emotional manipulation happening, but, like, there's no, like, not anything like that.
Well, he's gotta pull the strings, so he's gotta emotionally manipulate you or else
Yeah.
you're
Well,
gonna get smart.
he has kind of an interesting mechanism because he mostly emotionally manipulates the parents, and then the parents are the ones
Interesting.
paying for these young drug addicts to be there, and, like,
It's all
and
about
a
the
lot of them
money.
are, like, what I would call, like, new school drug addicts, like, like, pretty young kids who are caught up in the opiate epidemic and then kind of, ended up, at this place, and not necessarily, like I don't know, that's kind of complicated, but I think there's, like, a difference between, like, people who got caught up into drugs and people who have, like, the disease of addiction.
Yes. No, 100%. For sure. Yeah. And you have to have the disease of addiction to be able to tell the difference.
I agree. I
Yeah.
100% agree.
Yeah. For sure, because I have actually one of my best friends, and just because she is a mother now and has a husband, and I'm not gonna say her name, but she used to do all the drugs with me and would
Mhm.
go home and go back, like, on the weekend, and then would go back to school and, like, go to school, and then she'd come over for the weekend and I'm like, "How are you not doing this every day?" And she's like, "I just don't want to," and I'm like, "What?"
That's crazy, that blows my mind. Um,
"Not every day? What do you mean?"
yeah, I'm like, "I'm ready to go again right now."
"It's been 10 minutes, let's go."
Absolutely, and, like, I think back when I was, like when my drug use was, like, in its early when it was in its infancy, and, like, I would do mushrooms in the morning and then ecstasy at night and then, like, acid after, like, all in one day. You know what I mean? And, like, other people were like, "Wow, you're really doing the most here. Everyone else is just doing one of those things."
I remember one 4th of July I did ecstasy, meth and heroin, and then I think I was drinking too, and
Oh,
I don't remember much. Let's just say that. I
well,
don't
I
remember
feel
much.
like, yeah, America, right? Happy birthday, America. Like,
I missed all the fireworks. I was stuck in the garage.
yeah, I was also even earlier in my addiction, I was like super into I'm very, very alcoholic, blacking out drunk 5 to 7 days a week.
Okay, yeah. I mean,
So,
that's how I started too, was, like, smoking the weed, and then let's party, and then eventually someone was like, "Here, snort this hydrocodone, and then
mm,
when you drink, you won't have to drink as much, you get fucked up, and then let's smoke this blunt," and then, like, next thing you know, it's just, like, less alcohol, more pills, and then one day it was like, "Oh, we can't get any pills," because then they put all those regulations on the OP the
yeah,
OCs turned to OPs and you couldn't do anything with them, so then they're like, "Here's some heroin," and the fucked up thing was that I smoked heroin for, like, 2 months. My boyfriend at the time had been shooting it up for years. I didn't know, like, I knew he was doing heroin, but I didn't know to what extent,
yeah.
and then they were like, "Here, let's just shoot it up," and I was terrified of needles, and I was like but then you do it once and you're like, "Oh, I never have to taste heroin again. Let's go," and then nobody told me if you do too much, if you shoot up too much, it'll kill you. Nobody ever told me that. So I OD'd the first time, like, at 19 years old. Like, I had no idea that that amount was gonna kill me, and then luckily, somebody there saved my life, like, called
With old school
911.
Narcan,
Old school Narcan, that shit hurts.
yeah, that shit hurts, and it's like it's not like these cute little keychains nowadays that they have. It's like a device that they shove up your nose. Yeah, that my friend that I would use with had that too.
I
For
just
me, I was
remember,
like,
like sorry.
oh no, I'm sorry. I was just nothing was off the table for me really ever. There was never anything that I was like, I'm never doing that drug.
That's how I was, like, in high school because I knew that, my whole family were tweakers, so I'm never gonna do meth, and
Hell
then
yeah.
I you don't do heroin, like, even at that point, heroin wasn't, like, the up and rising star that it was until it was, and then that's where everybody kind of went to, and naturally, I was just following the path of my friend group, and, I mean, the addict was always there, I was literally born addicted to crack, so I always and it was always just my escape,
Yeah,
but
I just
then
think sorry.
oh, no,
Yeah,
you're
for me,
good.
just nothing was ever off the table. Like, I was really into like, even as like a kid, I was pretty into like pretty dark stuff and like just drawn to like dark things or movies where people would do drugs or things like that. And like in early high school, I saw the movie Party Monster. Did you ever see that
No.
with Seth Green and Macaulay Culkin? And they're like
No,
club
I
kids in
never
the
saw
80s.
that, but 13 was, like, one of my top 3 movies
Mm,
growing up. Do you
yeah,
yeah,
I love that
yeah,
movie. And,
yeah.
like, in Party Monster, they have rules, like, I won't do crack without heroin, and, like, just stuff like that, and I just remember being
I
like,
think I've heard of this.
yeah, I mean, it's a true story. It's a story of this guy, and he ended up killing their drug dealer, and going to prison, and now he's out of prison, but which that did not that end of the movie where he goes to prison did not deter me. Um,
Oh,
I was, like, into the beginning of the movie where they were, like, partying, and they were, like, having raves inside the back of semi trucks and, like, just in roller skates, and super into all of it.
yeah. Yeah, I think I had some boundaries, and then I just didn't, and it and once you cross the line once, it's like, "Okay, what else?" Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Okay, so you got clean. It seems like you and I don't think like, "Oh, you have to go to rehab or you have to go to prison," or because any of that, but, how many times have you relapsed before you finally this last time?
More than I could probably count.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know if any of them really a lot of them I don't think really count as relapses. A lot of them were just like, I'd get a day put together here and there, out of
Oh,
money
yeah.
or whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
But like I did start going to meetings while I was in active addiction. Um, and I had a friend who was also in active addiction who was like court ordered to go to them. And so I started going to them and like I actually really enjoyed them. Um, and that was when I was still in Yakima and I was started like kind of putting a day together like here or there and like also claiming fake clean time in all the meetings. That's key. That is a canon event. And like thinking that like no one knew that I was going to these meetings loaded and I would also share and sometimes I would share for like 15 minutes or 3 or 4 times within one meeting. And so embarrassing now. Um, and also, like, I also wanted to I didn't really understand meeting etiquette, and so also after someone else would share, I'd be like, "Well, what I think about that is what I think you should do," um, and try to like, comment on their share,
Yeah,
because I
give them
didn't, I
advice.
didn't have any, like, meeting etiquette or culture, but I did really enjoy them, and then my parents, so then, like, then things started going, like, really downhill. There was, like, a lot of crime. I was held hostage for a few days, and my dad came to get me out of there,
Oh my god.
and yeah, it was pretty fucked up. Um, and he came I'll tell the story because I think it is worth telling. But I was being held hostage, by these people who I had owed a lot of money to. Their drugs got stolen out of my car. It was, um, 4 ounces of heroin and 8 ounces of meth that were stolen out of my car,
A
and
lot.
which is a lot, and so
That is a lot.
for the viewers at home, that's about $4,000 worth of heroin and about, like, $2,000 worth of meth, 3,000, something like that, so it was a lot of money, and so for a few days and I thought they were gonna kill me, I was, like, pretty sure, and so I ended up calling my dad and, like, asking him to bring me, like, $500, like, something to get me out of the room, like, to, start this process of paying them back, and, he said no at first, and it was, like, the middle of the night, and it was, like, right around Thanksgiving in 2016. The clean date's in 2018, so, and he came in and he sat down with me and he, we talked for a while and he was like, "I'm gonna give you this money, but I want you to come with me to your grandpa's house. We're gonna detox you there." And I was so scared. I was so scared, and I said to him, I said, I'm not ready for that." I was like, "They're gonna come find us there." And he was like, and I'll never forget, he's like, "They don't come there. They don't come out in the daytime." Um, and, like, to me, these people were, like, all powerful. And,
Right.
to my dad, he was, like, not scared of them. And so he gave me this money, and then I was like, "Okay, can I have also 40 more dollars to get well one more time?" And, he gave me more than $40 and was like, "Don't call me again until you're ready." And, um, then I went back in there and, like, I had a fat lip and a black eye, and I went back in there and got high with them all night, like I hadn't just gone through fucking terrors with them for the last days,
Right.
and then just a couple days later, um, uh, I went I told my dad that I was ready and, um, went to that crazy cult place, just a couple days after that, and so from there, I continued to relapse, but I was really, really trying. Like, I got a sponsor, and I was going to meetings, and I was, like, had a home group, because back then they were allowed to go to meetings and stuff, and I was really trying and I just, like, couldn't get it, and, like, the disease my disease was just, like, so strong within me, and, like, I also craved, like, some of the lifestyle parts of it too. Like,
Yeah.
the always something happening, like, there's never a dull moment in active addiction, really, like, there's always something happening and someone's getting fucked over and somebody's doing whatever, and, I was, like, really drawn to that, and I think that was part of it. And so, I was getting high again, I got kicked out of that place, moved into another recovery house, got high there the whole time, was there for a few months, um, got kicked out again, and I was, like, now homeless in, like, a city that I've never lived in before, like, living behind the library dumpster and, like, putting
Mm,
pennies together, and,
yeah.
I ended up calling the cult place one more time, and I was like, "I just need a scholarship. I just need somewhere to go." And they were like at first they said no, and, um, I was, like, devastated by that because a lot of people there are there on scholarships. Uh,
Right. Well,
and
they checked the food stamp fund and they were like, "Hold on. Let's call him back."
Yeah, and so they did give me a scholarship, and I went there, and, like, they had told me, like, "None of the bullshit you were doing before is ever gonna fly here again. Like, there's not gonna be any drama, there's not gonna be any complaining," because I was shockingly complaining about everything. Um, like,
I still do.
ev everything me too. Um, but I was complaining about everything from, like, chore time to bedtime to, like, the movies they're making us watch, because they watch, like, a movie every night. Everything, I was just complaining about everything, and so they were like, "None of that." they were like, if like we tell you that you're gonna get up and you're gonna go do manual labor, you're just gonna say thank you. Um, and I was like so ready. It was raining and I was like miles away. And they were like, okay, you can get here by this time. And so I was walking and it was raining and I had $2 in my pocket and I stopped at El Campeon Mexican Market. Shout out to them. And I got a tamale and with my last $2, green chicken. And and I walked the rest of the way to that house. And I've been clean ever since. But also there is another part to this right before that that I was hanging out with these two lesbians and I was so high that when people do weird stuff when they're getting high?
Yes.
I wouldn't stop singing The Little Mermaid for like 5 hours straight. And so they had had enough and they were like, we're gonna drop you off and pick you back up. And they dropped me off and they never picked me back up. And they had
Of
everything that
course.
I ever owned.
I've been
And
kicked out before. They kept your shit?
yeah,
No. That's fucked
one of
up.
them is clean now and has been clean for 6 years.
Did you ask
Um,
her, "Hey, bitch, you still have my shit?"
yeah, I got her a spot at the cult house later when she was ready to get clean. She came and lived there with me.
She bring you your fucking little treasure chest of goodies that you
Okay,
'cause I
it's
know
literally,
we
it's
all
literally
have treasure chests of goodies, okay? And if you were like me, you bedazzled. Oh my god, please. You bedazzled the box. Yes.
it's not hassle. It's just a treasure chest of goodies. Everything I own used to fit into this box.
No fucking way, dude.
Yeah,
That is
everything I own, and one of the stops is broken, and yeah, and
oh my god.
isn't that so funny?
So funny.
And like now I keep different stuff in here now. This is like my most special keepsake box. So like I
Yes.
have the college acceptance letter in here and I have my birthday
Oh,
text in here and
that's really
um
good. That's so cute.
my first pay stub that I got in recovery. Um and it's kind of
You're
like a God
you're
box now.
yeah, you're like a sentimental queen.
I am a sentimental queen.
Yes. I
I
love
think
that.
it's
That is
too
so
funny that I
funny.
have the treasure chest readily available.
I love that for us. I love that for the listeners. I hope people find that so fucking funny.
I still have it and now I've had that thing for like 10 years and it's
Yeah.
falling apart, but I love
Yeah.
that thing.
Yeah.
And so I did get it
I
back, yes.
I had, like, my dad's computer. Oh, man, I wish it was, like, cinematic gold what I had on that computer. There was a lot of fucked up weird like, why were we obsessed with recording dance parties in the 2010s and the 2011s and people would record me, like, nodding out and, like, this is shit I wish I had now just to prove, "Look at me, look how crazy I was," but, like, all I have are these pictures, and I'm a little photogenic, so I don't even look that tore back, but, like,
I did.
I wish I could convey, like, how fucked up I was, but I guess I don't really need to, but I I remember I moved into my Oxford house, and when I was moving out, I decided that I would just throw it away. I didn't want it anymore. It only had, like, bad memories on there, and I didn't want to have it. Kinda wish I had it, though. Shouldn't have done that, but maybe it's for the best.
I only have one picture of me from active addiction, and I post it every year on my clean date. And my dad took it one time when he found me walking up the street, and I was in like pajama pants and mismatched shoes, because I was like truly homeless. Like I was like,
Yeah.
living outside homeless.
See, I never had that.
And so he thought it might be the last time he would see me alive.
Mm.
And so he took this picture of me. And so I post it every year on my clean date. And I was pretty tore back. And that was, you know, I had no idea that I was that tore back. I also thought like, because I've been fat most of my life. And so at that time I was like 160 pounds and I was like
Yeah.
skinty, like
Yes,
I felt
yes.
like I looked maybe not
So
good, but I
good.
felt like I looked maybe fit. Um,
No, you thought you looked fucking fire. Don't fuck with me because I felt the same way because I was overweight growing up my whole life too, and then started doing math and I was like 125
yeah,
pounds, all collarbones,
yeah.
collarbone
Um,
city, just sucked up, and I was like, I'm fucking hot. Look at me,
yeah,
like pick marks all over my fucking face. 3-day-old eyeliner, the fucking smoky eye, the bronzer, the darkest bronzer you've ever seen in your life, and seen the sun in fucking 3 years.
yeah. I mean, I don't know. I was like living in all the hotels and like I looked pretty on par with everyone else that was living in the hotels. Like I didn't look worse than them. So,
Right.
whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, even if you had looked worse, you wouldn't have known it.
No, there would have not
No.
been any way to tell me that.
Mm-mm.
Um, and like I had this street mom and she was always giving me like clothes, but like she was also a sex worker. So like now I'm wearing like literally cowboy boots and short shorts and like a Hooters tank top. Like, um,
I can see it right now. I can picture it.
yeah, it's not that hard to
Ah,
imagine. Um,
no. That's so
and so
funny.
she was always giving me like her leftover stuff that she didn't want all the time.
That's nice. It's good to have people like
Yeah, well, girl, let's be honest. Um, like I looked good. Um,
yeah.
And so sometimes, like, she took care of me a lot. Like, she would a lot of times have a room and like let me stay there, or like she would a lot of time find tricks for me to turn, stuff like that. And she had a car, which made her fucking untouchable in this world.
Right. Yes.
Anyone with a car is like next level.
Yeah.
And so she, and she granted me pretty free access to the car. Not to the car, but she would drive me a lot of places
Drive you. Yeah.
and
I
including the
had some
casino.
drivers too. Yeah, I had some drivers too.
Yeah, which was nice.
Yeah.
And then,
Yeah.
she was always really kind to me. And actually, when my dad had that conversation with me about getting clean, she was like, "You are so fucking lucky that your family still loves you." She's like, and I'll never forget this. She was like, "You are not meant for this world. Like
Mm.
this is not your path." And
You're not a lifer.
she had previously had her life very much put together with like a bunch of kids and like a career and all these things, and an injury led to her getting like addicted to heroin. And yeah, she would tell me like, "You're not a lifer here." And so I still think about that because when she said that to me, I was like, maybe she's right.
God, I thought I was gonna die.
I
I thought I
hoped I
was
did.
gonna die. I was wanting to die most of the time. When I'd be by myself and getting high, I would be like, maybe this will be the last one. Maybe this will be it. But like, I was never meant for that life. Well, you know what? Actually, I'll take that back. I was meant for that because I would never be as fucking cool as I am now if I hadn't gone through all of that. There's no way
Yeah.
because I look at my family and the trajectory that we were on and like there's no way I would have fucking ended up where I'm at now.
I feel like the exact same way about that. So, and I've shared many times in many meetings, like the book talks about like lost dreams reawaken or whatever. I didn't really have any dreams. Like I
Right.
was like pretty ambivalent to being like a good or a bad person before, and like had no direction before I started using hard drugs. Like
Mhm.
I didn't have any goals or really, I was really a fucking nobody. And
Yeah.
I was like super picked on all through school, super unpopular. Like there was no way I was really and I feel like going through active addiction changed my worldview more than anything ever will.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
so like I also and like what you were saying about like you wish you had your pictures. Me too, because like when I tell people about it, I think they have a different picture in their head than like what was really happening. I'm like, no, like these
Yes.
homeless people you see like practicing their dance moves, that was very me. I'm like
Yeah.
kicked out of Walgreens in Yakima for the rest of my life. Um,
Yeah. I was 86 from Richards and Cherries in the
I
same
don't
week.
I don't know what Richards is, but
It's like
Sherry
a video poker deli.
Video
What do
Poker
they not
Deli?
Yeah, you, like, go in, you can, like, order food, it's just, like, all video poker, um, you've never you like a Dottie's? Do you know what Dottie's is? Are
No,
these
is
just,
this
like,
all
o
Oregon stuff?
this is must be Oregon stuff,
This is
interesting.
Oregon stuff, okay.
Yeah, so it's like a
Here we
little
have, like, real
parlor.
casinos.
It's like a video poker parlor where you can go in and there's, like, 6 machines. Anyway,
Here
I
we
got
have
86
giant
from
casinos.
there,
Here,
and
everywhere,
I
there's giant casinos all up and down I-5.
yeah, not out
So,
here.
is there no casinos in Oregon?
There are, there's Schnuckwins is, Lincoln City, and then there's Spirit Mountain Casino, which is in Grand Ronde. Those are kind of far away. The closest one is actually the A, which is in
Oh, okay, yeah, in
yeah,
Ridgefield?
yeah,
Yeah,
Richfield, yeah.
Ridgefield, yeah.
Yeah, because I guess they didn't, like, because we're in the Portland metro area, so a lot of this area, I guess they didn't let the Native Americans keep, like, reservations or anything,
Well, that's super
which is
interesting.
sad. Yeah.
Because just like here in Tacoma, there's several. there's 2 Emerald Queens, and then
Yes.
there's, like, a lot of littler ones too, which maybe those are more similar to what you're talking about, but I've never been inside of those. And then, like, we have, like, the Muckleshoot that's pretty big. I mean, everywhere all the way from up north all the way to the very last one on the stop is the Ilene.
Yeah, I'm telling you, you walk in, it's 6 video poker machines only and, like, some tables and chairs, and you can, like, get a soda while
You got
you
kicked out of those?
Yeah, they
And
were trying
Sherry's
to
the
get
restaurant, or is Sherry's another one
Sherry's
of
the
these?
restaurant because of the video poker machine. Your girl was really addicted to the video poker, but I was a menace.
Imagine being addicted to gambling, but all you can do is the video poker machine telly.
It's true. That was me. Or, like, the bar video poker, because eventually I had to go to the bar,
We don't have
but it
really
was
any of those here.
you don't have video poker machines in your bars?
No, not that I know of.
That's so crazy. We have in every bar, there's a little room that has doors. Well, I guess if it's family friendly, if it's just a bar, there's video poker machines, but there's usually like 6 of them.
No, that's
And
not
like,
how it is here, yeah.
interesting. That's so crazy. Hmm.
That is.
The Washington lottery must be different than the Oregon lottery.
Yeah, surely. I mean, it's so interesting because I think I have been to one like you're describing in Montana.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
so where they have like a separate at the I think they call it's not a mall, but I think they call it like the Mall of Montana. It's like 1,000 silver coins or something like that is what it's called. And it's like a gift shop and a diner and like a casino and a bar. And like the casino bar is like in a separate room, but it's not like a casino. They do have some slot machines, but it's mostly poker.
Interesting. Yeah.
That is interesting.
Any hootie. Yeah. So same week, got 86. It's fine. That was right before I ended up, like, going to jail a lot, so
Mm.
yeah, I don't really gamble anymore. It doesn't do it for me like it used to.
Mhm.
Okay, so
It is me.
what are you up to now? You're in school.
I am in school. I'm about to finish I mean, so I also work full time, and I work full time as a clinical research coordinator. So like we put together drug studies for patients who have blinding conditions like macular degeneration or diabetic retinopathy. We pool together from our patient load, and then we also recruit others to come and be part of these drug studies for new drugs or drugs that already exist. We're finding more nuance to their uses or new uses for the drugs.
Okay.
And so that's pretty interesting. That's very cool. It's very cool to be a part of like a science type thing. And like learning what it means when it says like 80% of patients had, saw improvement or whatever. Clinical studies are super interesting. And then I also go to school. I'm about to finish next quarter with my AA in sociology and psychology.
Okay.
And then next year in the fall of 26, I will be at University of Washington studying, getting my bachelor's in social work.
Nice.
And then my plan is to get a master's as well.
Okay. Do you wanna teach?
No,
No. Okay.
no, I want to be a therapist. Um,
Okay.
Yeah, I wanna own, like, a private practice therapist clinic.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, and I wanna work with, like specifically, I wanna work with, like, family that have trans members.
Okay.
So and, work on what, like, the unification how do we keep the family unified moving forward through this? Because like, I do think that we have to, like, honor everyone's path in that, right? Like, I do think that, obviously we know what trans people are kinda going through, right? Like, with their families, like, not accepting them or not using the
Right.
proper names, but I don't think that we give enough attention to, like, family members who are struggling, right? And, like, the understanding that they have, like, this fundamental belief inside of them about who this person is, or maybe it's, like, religious conviction or whatever that is.
Yeah.
And, like, how do we move through this together as a unit, basically? So
Mhm.
I wanna specialize in that.
That's really good. It's good to see it from all sides.
Yeah, I think that's kind of like what we're missing a lot of the time is
Yeah.
all the sides. Everyone has
Yeah.
one side. And so that is important to me, like, and where do we find the middle ground,
Mhm.
and like moving forward as family units. That's kind of my that's what I wanna get into, but we'll see what happens, like, later on.
Yeah.
School that's one thing about school is you're always discovering, like, new and different opportunities and new and different subjects that you, like, never even thought of before.
Yeah. I know. I, like, thought I wanted to be a drug and alcohol counselor, and I was sitting through the first year of those classes, and I remember I just had like, an epiphany, and I was like, "This is actually not what I wanna do," and I just
I
stopped.
have never wanted to do that. I'm
Yeah.
like that I as soon as I got into school, like, I, like, knew and, like, I have to tell people because like, my recovery I do live, like, my recovery, like, out loud, so I do tell people about it pretty openly, and so,
Mhm.
like, their assumption is that I always wanna get into that, and I'm like, "No, I don't. I don't wanna have
Mm-mm.
anything to do with that."
Mm-mm.
I want this to be, like, a small piece of who I am and a small piece of the puzzle.
But
And
it's,
plus
like,
I
your
just
own thing. It's, like, your
yeah.
own private little thing that you
Yeah,
don't
like, my
wanna.
recovery
Y
is private, and my addiction's private, and, like, it's not necessarily not private, but, like, it's for me, it's not for,
Right.
you know, for everybody, and, I think that also it's such a saturated market, and what I see so often is people who get into positions like that, and then they end up relapsing because they turn their job into, like, their entire recovery, which is, like,
Mhm.
not what I want for
Yes.
myself.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm really glad I figured that out quickly. I was like, "Oh, yeah, no. I'm meant for something else for sure."
It's so burnt. It gets like, I feel like everyone in it is so burnt out and, like, it's such a revolving door and, like, I feel like it would be, like, a really painful and thankless job, honestly, at the end of the day.
Well, I'm really glad for the people who are able to do it because, obviously it's a need, but it's just not me. I can't even sit through a fucking home group meeting.
No.
Can't even sit
No.
in service. People who love service, I'm just like, Thank God for you because I cannot stand people and
I
I don't
have a
want to work with
sponsee
people."
I have a sponsee, and she loves doing area service. I
I've
cannot.
I've never been to an area meeting and I will never go.
I went one time and immediately knew that it was never gonna be for me, and it's not today.
Mm,
I
yeah.
do service, I do a lot of event service, so, I don't know if you know this about me either, but, like, I'm sponsored by a woman and I sponsor women. Um,
Oh,
and and that's, like,
I love
largely because,
that.
like, when I came into the rooms, like, people didn't love that about me, but, like, I have this song that I sing, and it goes, "Men are stupid and I don't respect them." Um,
Yes,
and I live by that song.
it's true.
But really, I struggled on my end having, like, keeping relationships appropriate. I also struggled to identify with, like, a lot of, like, biker bros and, like, I just didn't they didn't share a lot of, like, the same parts of my addiction with me, and, like, where I found that and, like, a lot of people that worked in sex work and a lot of people that had, like, the same style of addiction that I had was in women.
Yeah,
And I just felt comfortable and safe and, like, it wasn't these big bikers with tattoos on their heads that, like, I really wanted to be more like. And so I was sponsored by a woman, and she sponsored me for 6 years. Um, and she changed my life, and we have now had a falling out. But, I'll never forget everything that she did for me. And I mean, and she
right.
taught me, like, things she just taught me also, like, how to be an adult,
Yeah.
about, like, credit and, like, how to get a car and, like, different things, because like, my license had been taken away, and I had to pay off $22,000. Um,
Oh my
and legal
god.
financial obligations in order for my license to be mine. And so I just paid that off when I had 5 years clean or 6 years clean. So
Yeah,
that was, like, a pretty monumental thing.
good for
Um, and
you. I got
and
mine
so, like
back after 2 years clean, so I didn't have it for 5 years, but mine was, like, a speeding ticket that caused it because my dad said, "Oh, yeah, I'll pay that," and then didn't just, like, teach me a lesson, or so I remember. I actually can't remember exactly, but that's how I remember it, and then I got a driving while suspended without proof of insurance, and then it all went
I
to
had, like, 12 of those,
collections.
yeah.
Yeah. It all went to collections, and then drug court actually helped me pull it out of collections, my attorney
You
in
were in
drug
drug
court.
court?
Yeah, I went through drug court.
My dad made me decline drug court,
Ugh.
and because he was like, "You're not ready yet." And I know it was the best thing that ever happened because I would be in prison if I went to drug court when it was offered
No,
to me.
it's true, yeah, I didn't have any other choice, I was gonna go to prison, for sure, for identity theft. That was
Yeah.
it.
Mhm.
Mhm.
That's always the one.
The identity Are you ready to get your mind blown?
Yeah.
You just found out that I'm bisexual. You
Yes.
thought I was just a lesbian.
Correct.
Unfortunately, I'm attracted to men. I used to be engaged to a man.
It is unfortunate, yes.
Yeah, 2020, we got engaged 2019. I actually, if you listen to, like, my first podcast cast episode, I talk about this, but it was a really fucked up relationship, but actually he started out as my sugar daddy, but his checks were the ones that I stole, and his bank pressed charges on me. So then I had a no contact with him because he was the, victim of my crime, and then in 2019, when we got engaged, he took me to the bank and was like, "So, she kind of committed a crime on this bank account," and the guy's like, and then looked up and he's like, and I was like, "Yeah," and then technically all parties are here, and they put me on the bank account that I committed identity theft.
That is fucking insane.
Isn't that insane?
Because I couldn't get my own bank account. I had to get
Yeah,
what they call like a last chance bank account where you have to pay them monthly for their
yeah.
services.
I had that too, probably because of that, but at this point, I was like 2019, I got clean in 2013, so you do the math.
As
Yeah,
you already
but
had 6 years clean at that time?
yeah, mhm.
What a blessing.
Ugh, I know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I no, I hate men. So, I'm glad
Preach.
you did that to him, and I wish that you would do it to him again, um,
Oh my
and
gosh.
not get caught. Um,
I don't need to. I make plenty of money myself. It's all good. It was like oh my god. It was
it's just
like
to teach him a lesson. Don't you
I
think he,
can't
like,
even remember
deserves
how much.
it?
I think it was like $500 and I got it for video poker. I'm not even kidding you, bitch.
Not a video. I don't know exactly what these machines look like, I've never seen a video poker machine, so, like, I'm
Yes, you
imagining,
have.
like,
They're in the casinos. They're like the machines that are the slots and you press the button and it plays the different games and you get the bonus.
slots?
Not like slot like numbers, but like they have like the different like the Wolves Run and the
No, I know
like
what
all
you're
the
talking about. Yeah, we just call them slots. That's a video poker machine?
that's a video poker machine.
Oh, okay, yeah, we don't have those in restaurants or in bars at all.
Okay, we
They
have
only
those.
are at the casino.
Okay,
That's
slots. I
crazy.
consider
Okay.
a slot machine the one with the numbers that's like 777, those. That's what I consider slots. But
So in Vegas, so you would say that Vegas is full of video poker machines everywhere?
yeah, and
Oh,
slot machines, but they're different.
oh, we would call them like old school slots and then regular slots.
Okay, yeah.
Because we would call them all
Interesting.
slot machines because it's still like they're, I mean, they're still,
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah, that's true.
yeah. So I do know what
You
they are. Okay, so
okay,
video
that's
poker
funny.
is such an interesting thing to call it because when I think of video poker, I have like this picture of like an old man with like a hat on, and he's like the cards are on the screen and he's like moving them around with his I don't know.
Interesting. They're
Yeah,
actually called video poker machines in Oregon, is
that's
the
so
name of the machine.
interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm
Wait,
like, because I was
what's
just
your
thinking
favorite
like, where did I
one?
get that? So back then, so American Original, it's got
Oh,
like the
okay.
coins and the okay, you know that one. And then the
No,
leaping lemons, the leaping where they go, yeah,
the lemmings, the little mice things.
yeah, the
Yeah,
lemmings, yeah, and they're like,
yeah. Chris's wife loves that one.
yes. Me
Ashley,
and her kindred spirits too. I love her. She's so funny.
that's my best friend. Me and her are very close.
Yes. Yeah, yeah.
Like she's like the most stable part of my life.
I'm really jealous that you guys are so far away and have this bond and I don't get to be a part of it, but here I am. I'm so far away.
Be a part anytime. She would actually be a great guest for your podcast too, because she's so
I
funny.
should have her on. Yeah,
Yeah,
she's so
she is so
funny.
good. And she's about to have, if I have 8, she has 9, 11 or 12 or 13 years.
I think she's close to me. I just got 12.
Yeah, I think she's 12. Yeah, I
Yeah.
think she's about to be 12. Her clean day I know is in 2014.
Okay, yeah, she's just right after me.
Yeah. And so, yeah, I love her so much. And so she loves the lemmings too. Do you like
Yeah.
Milk Money too
I haven't played that one.
with the cows?
Yeah, I haven't played that one. I'm just thinking back to like my old school, like the Big 5 was a big one for me, but it's so expensive because it's like 25 cents or something for a spin. I can't remember, but it's a lot. It's like 5 cents a line. So it ends up
Okay.
being a quick like your $20 is gone quickly. So but the anyway, yeah. So those are just like the ones that I remember that are near and dear, but yeah. So Anyway,
Yeah.
so what do you have planned next? Like, what are your goals for 2026?
Honestly, to have it just be, like, different than 2025. So, my
Okay.
one of my main goals for 2026 is to, like I really wanna get, involved in, like, mutual aid regarding, like, immigration and, like, anti-ICE. Like, I really wanna get into, like, helping people. I don't wanna necessarily say, like, protesting, but, like, I wanna, like, get into helping people know what their rights are, and I really wanna get to be, like, to be, like, boots on the ground instead of just, like, fighting with people on Facebook about things.
Mhm.
I feel like our country is, like, heading in a direction where, like, we have to start taking action, whatever that looks like, and so that is a big goal of mine. I wanna find different organizations to get involved in, um, for the for for that specific topic, but, like, really anything is just to be, like, about what I say I'm about.
Yeah.
And then I mean, I don't have, like I'm not gonna, like, lose 10 pounds, but, I mean, I do maintain a 4.0 GPA, so that will always be on my roster
Your
to keep
list. Yeah.
a 4.0.
Good for
Um,
you.
yeah, and it's, sometimes easier than others, but, I'm super grateful. I can't believe that I have a 4.0. Like, I was not a good student in school.
Yeah,
Like, I
me
was
either.
like C's were, like, celebrated in my house.
Mhm.
So, like, having a 4.0 in college is insane.
I had a 3.96. I got a B in Spanish because that same guy was like we were in a breakup and he kept fucking with me, like, and I cried through exam number 2 and I did bad, and then it was a hard semester or a hard, trimester for me, but it's all good. 1 B, the rest I got A's
Are you in
for
school?
my prereqs. No, no,
Hell
no.
yeah.
When I because 'cause I'm a dental hygienist, so
Oh, that's
I
right,
was
yeah.
doing yeah, yeah, I had to do all the prereqs for the dental hygiene program, but I kept that was like a very there's school and then there's like a program, and
Yeah.
I was like, "I'm so good at school," and I maintained like a 3.6, and I was like, "I don't give a fuck. I'm exhausted. They're beating me down. I'm working." I went to school Monday through Friday, and then I worked Friday, Saturday, Sunday, so I was just like, "Get me the fuck in and get me the fuck out, and let's get
I
this
have my
fucking degree."
cosmetology license, and the setup was kinda like that also. Like, you go to school and you basically, like, work for free, and then you have to, like, also study and then also go to work. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was
It's yeah.
it was, like it was set up kinda like that. So, I mean, that's
Mhm.
just kind of where I'm at now is, like, I wanna get you know, once I got clean, I was, like, no longer, like, wanted to be a hairstylist, but I've always been, like, wanting to do something that, like, helps people, and, like, I ended up just, like,
Yeah.
in the medical field, like, somehow weirdly, and I've been at the same job now since I had, like, less than 2 years clean,
Mm.
and so,
And it's still, like, fulfilling for you?
absolutely. It's
Good.
changed so much. I haven't been a clinical coordinator the whole time. I started with part-time front desk.
Okay.
And then I got into, like, surgery scheduling, and then I was, like, the lead front desk person, and then I got into copay assistance programming and, things like that, and then I'm actually gonna be published in a scholarly article this year. I can't say what it's
Wow.
about yet, but
Okay.
well, I guess I could oh, I don't know
No,
if
it's
I
okay.
don't know if I'm allowed to
It's
say
o
what it's about or not. Uh,
it's fine.
but, that's, like, a super exciting thing, like, like, people who are looking up this specific topic are gonna be able to, like, get quotes from me to put into their papers or to use as evidence.
Love
Um,
that.
and so I am very excited about that, and I have another abstract submitted for a different journal. Um and so those are exciting things, and those are, co-authored by the doctor that I work with. Um,
Okay.
and one of them, I'm the primary investigator, and one of them he is. And so that is exciting. It's exciting to do science, but I am excited to move out of science and into social science.
Yeah, good for you.
Yeah.
And then dating, not dating.
No,
No.
I don't date, and I haven't dated ever in recovery. I've never wanted to or been into it.
Okay.
Um I believe in, like, having so for me personally, I have a really full life, and, I like, the freedom that I receive from being single is worth the fact that sometimes I get lonely.
Okay. Yeah, I can
You
appreciate
know,
that.
it's not like I'm never lonely, but I also never have to ask permission for
Mm.
anything. Like, I never have to take on anyone else's bullshit, and, like, all the bullshit that I have belongs to me. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, my credit card debt is my problem. My credit card debt is some guy or whatever, you know what I mean? Whatever that looks like. And that's in any facet, right? And so, like, I don't date, but I do hook up. I think, and this is, like, another thing that people, like, don't think is that is, like, super spiritual or whatever. But like I do think that, learning to meet a physical need versus like always being dependent on someone is its
Yes.
own separate spiritual principle, right? And it's
Yeah.
like it's its own path and its own journey. And I think also when you talk about like gay people, um, like I didn't grow up seeing like I'm old. There wasn't gay people even on TV. You know what I mean? Like when I was growing up, when I was in like middle or high school, like Will and Grace. But like other than that, like so I grew up pretty much knowing that I was gay and like just never having anything. I didn't meet another gay person until I was in high school. So,
Yeah.
like I never had this like framework of like, I'm gonna get married and I'm gonna have a husband and do this and do that. And so I never really dreamt of it or wanted it because it just didn't exist in my world.
Yeah.
So I think that that kinda changed my worldview about that.
Yeah. Well, I have a different perspective now because I feel like I was searching and searching and searching, and I've had, other girlfriends previously. Primarily, like, I would date like, it was, like, man like, especially when I got clean, like but honestly, I would just date the men because I was less picky with the men. I was more picky with women, and I just didn't have, like I didn't know where to find any women. A very weird thing because I like a specific type of girl. I'm a femme who likes femmes.
Yeah.
I don't want
My
a masculine woman. If I wanted to date a masculine woman, I would just date a man.
my sister is femme and her wife is femme.
I love that. We're like little
Mhm.
unicorns. Actually, a mask dating a mask. I've seen that, or like mask married a mask.
Uh-huh.
It's a rarity, but I've seen it. But I would kind of just shuffle through all these fucking losers, and then I finally like after the engagement, I really took some time and like stayed single for 2 years. And so I know what you mean by like my peace is mine. I don't want to
Yeah.
deal with anybody's bullshit. Like men are really fucking annoying. That shit is so annoying. I don't think I could ever date a man again. And not because I'm engaged to a woman. Like, let's pretend like my fiance is not my fiance. We're not together. The connection that I have with women is so much stronger and like better than it ever was with a man now that I've like healed and know what I want. But I
My
love the fuck out of her, and I will deal with her bullshit because she brings me so much peace and, like, she feeds my soul, and, like, that's really where it is. So, one day, maybe, and who cares if not, like, you might find that one person that instead of sucks the life out of you, brings the life into you, and that's really who you should be with.
Well, and, like, that's how I feel, like, I'm not opposed to dating, it's not like I never want to date, but I'm just, like, I'm not actively pursuing it.
Yeah.
And part of that is because I fucking hate men so much. Um, so, like, being attracted only to them is, like, the curse,
Yeah.
is part of that, and then, but I'm not opposed to, like, if I found someone that, like, really complimented my life and, like, I could share that with, like, I'm not opposed to it, it's just I'm not actively pursuing it. And I've never
Right.
been actively pursuing it in recovery. My life has
Yeah.
always been a little bit too full, honestly, to have the room for it, like the time and the effort that it takes to get to know someone intimately like that. But you're right, like
Mhm.
who gives a fuck? And that's one thing that like when I tell people this, like thank you for saying that because so many people when I tell them like I'm not interested in it, they're like, find the one someday. And I'm like, no, fuck you. I don't have to. Like,
Yes.
if that's what you want, good for you, but don't say that's what I want because I'll decide what I want. Thank you. Um,
You wanna know why I know that, like, it's okay if even if you don't want to end up with anybody? It's because I get the same fucking thing when it comes to children. "No, thank you." "Well, maybe you just haven't found the one you wanna have kids with yet." "No, I've never wanted them, and guess what? I'm, 36, I still don't want them." Never once have I had baby fever and thought, "Ooh." Actually, you know what? When I'm up on the mountain, I see a little kid in their fucking snowsuit on their little snowboard. It makes my ovaries go a little bit, but like, kid, just let me look at them like that because I don't want to deal with them crying and being cold and all of that. But they're so cute in their little snowsuit. But yeah, children, not for me.
Pretty openly hate children. Um,
So do I.
I like don't and like what I people with kids always do the same shit. They'll like complain and complain and complain and complain and then be like, you gotta have one.
My
Like
God.
and I'm like, no, you are always telling me how miserable your life is because of the kids. And you're like, the kids got the whole house sick. Oh, I would do that, but the kids. And I'm like, I'll never have to say but the kids about anything. Like, it's just I'm not even ready to have a boyfriend and now like you think I want to have oh no. I just
Yeah.
feel like I also think that it's such a scary time in the world to be having kids.
No,
Like
thank you.
AI is taking all the jobs, the climate's, I'm like they're going to live with you till they're 50. So, no,
Well, and the
I
other thing is they're like, "Well, maybe because I don't wanna, like, carry a kid." They're like, "Well, maybe you should adopt one." And then I remind them, "I already did that. She just turned 18. I literally adopted her and have raised her by myself without the financial help of fucking anybody, all by
how old was she
myself."
when you
And
adopted her?
she was 12, and
Hell
there was
yeah.
a global pandemic.
That is so crazy. You adopted by yourself? Did you know her previously from
She is my family member. She's my cousin's daughter.
Okay.
And she just needed, like, a better life. She needed a better living situation. She was
But you
not
are a
living at
mom. Does she
home.
call you mom?
I am a mom, yes. I just don't wanna,
Yeah.
like, and after going through her teenager phase, which nobody else had to do but me, and then a little bit of my fiancé the last 2 years, which honestly the last year has been great. I think I watched her brain develop a little bit, and, like, she is a fucking phenomenal fucking human. I have done a really great job, and I will take all the credit for that because she was a little fucking shithead when I got her, but she just grew up in the same tumultuous, toxic, fucking drug addict, literal same trap house that I grew up in because they were squatting in my grandma's house after she died for 3 years, and this was the house that I was raised in and she was raised in, so it's a little weird, but yeah, and so when I got her, she was, like, wanting to fight kids at the skate park and all this stuff, and then yeah, she is a phenomenal human being,
Yeah, you're already a mom. So what's
you
the
know?
point of like having one at
But
36?
they're like, "Don't you just wanna have one that looks like you?" I'm like, "Have you seen a picture of her?"
Also, like you work out a lot. Like my
I just
sister,
I just don't want to.
my sister has worked really hard. She's wanted to be skinny her whole life and she's finally like really skinny and fit. And now she's talking about having a baby and I'm like, okay, well, that feels like a waste of time then. I
No,
think
it's
that
not because it actually helps you kind of come back to where you were previously, but if she wants a baby, man, I've learned, like, it might disgust me that people wanna have kids, but
yeah.
that's, like, the way I feel about dogs is how people feel about kids. I have
I
4
can't
fucking
wrap my head
dogs, and it really takes everything in me not to get a 5th.
Yeah, I'm like, if I had like a different living situation, I didn't have a roommate, like I would have more dogs than I could ever count. And
Yeah,
yeah, you're right. That I guess that is right. I can't wrap my head around. I actually think that I love my dog as much as people love their children. And people are like, no, you
100%.
don't. And people are like, no, you don't. And I'm like, they're like, you don't understand. I'm like, no, you don't understand.
It's
Uh,
true. It's
I'm
true.
like, why? Because yours can talk.
Yeah. It's true because I do love, Sophia, as my own, and I've always loved her. She's been in my life her entire life, and the way I feel about her is exactly how I feel about my dogs.
I love that. Where's your cousin now? Does she still see her?
She just, I think just because for Sophia's sake, I'll just say a little bit, she doesn't want a lot of her business. The one thing she asked me was like, "Please hold boundaries for my life on the podcast. You can talk
That's
about me,
fine.
but I don't want people to know, like, my whole story." But
Yeah.
she just got clean. So, I hope we always hope that they stay clean. So far, she's doing good.
Yeah, I think that that's another conflict. I think that's one of the most complicated things is like you never want to have like too much hope that someone's going to stay, and then it's I shouldn't say a complicated thing, but like that's one of the hardest parts about recovery is that like you meet these people and they don't stay. and like
Yeah.
you just meet these people and you just love them so much and like they don't stay. And like my very best friend who I live with now, he's clean again, but like, you know, we met at that crazy house. We shared a bedroom and well, actually, it was me and him and 4 other people. But we shared a bedroom, and like I've been clean for 8 years, and he just had 18 months. And so
For
through all
him.
these years, he's been, like having like a lot of relapses, and we lived together once before. And he relapsed and abandoned the lease, and you know what I mean. So it's like it's hard to develop like that. It's hard to trust that anyone's gonna stay because
Mhm.
so few do,
It's true.
and like anyone that stays, like I have like an immediate connection with because like it's like we're fucking doing it still, and like
Mhm.
sometimes it's fucking hard,
Yeah.
and it's hard to have like a sense of trust with him as my best friend, right? And we live together on another lease, um, so like that's difficult. It's difficult, but the other thing is like I also do my best not to judge people's future based on their past
Yeah.
because like who was I? You know what I
Right.
mean? Like that's
We just got lucky.
yeah. I always say all the time, like I didn't do anything fucking special.
No.
It's not
My
like,
brain just
oh
happened to quit telling me all day, every day, I want drugs, go get it. Like, that's the only
yeah,
thing that changed. And people are like, "How did you do it?" It's like, I just stopped thinking about it. And
yeah,
I did not choose to do that. It chose to do that.
yeah. I'm
And
like, I don't
nobody
know. I just
knows nobody knows when it's gonna choose to do that for them.
yeah, I just made different friends, and for me, like I really wanted to use the first 18 months that I was clean, like desperately. Did think about it all the time. Continued to think about it all the time, but I was just working on also developing my life to a place where like there was no room for drug use.
There's no
You know
room,
what I
yeah.
mean? And,
Yeah.
and it was weird because I was in that cult house, but at the same time, like, like, I did develop a community where, like, no one around me was doing drugs. I wasn't doing drugs, like, there was just no more space for it. And I think that, and I also, like, I had to delete all my social media and, like, make all new social media.
Oh, I still have my OG. My
I
OG.
don't know, well, I have if you look me up ever on social media, several accounts will pop up. Um,
I've
I,
only ever had one. It's so crazy.
I have you also only ever had one cell phone number?
No. No, no,
I've had,
no,
like,
no.
25.
25 at least. Yeah,
Yeah,
minimum. Yeah.
and so, I mean, if you look me up, you'll see, like, 3 different accounts. One is, like, f from active addiction that I tried to, like, maintain in recovery, that didn't work out, and then I had one for years, and I got banned from it for making a hate group. It was called, uh, "White Christian Men Are Trash," um, and in all fairness, it was a hate group, uh, so I got banned for that. And then I got my Instagram taken away because I crochet, I make amigurumi. Do you know what that is?
No. Oh my
They're
god.
like the little animals, like the
Oh,
little
okay.
crocheted animals. And
They're so
so
cute. I've
yeah,
seen
they're
them.
so cute, and I was selling them on Instagram. And so my profile said I'm a hooker, and I got banned for sex work,
Oh my god.
for soliciting. I couldn't
And you were
fucking
just
believe
being
it.
punny.
Literally just being punny. I'm like, and I was like
Yes.
trying to explain it to Instagram, and Instagram was like going through a third party that like isn't understanding. I don't know if it's like AI or someone who's like maybe English is a second language or something, but I'm like, no, in crochet you use a hook. It's like I'm like, you see all the pictures, all those. It was just toys.
Yes. We're good.
So I
We
don't know if
got
they
that.
were like I don't know what was going on, but the long and the short is that they didn't understand what I was trying to say to them and they banned my Instagram as well. So they were a bunch of haters.
Yeah.
And so now my amigurumi business is ruined.
Oh my gosh. Well, RIP to the business. And
Yeah.
yeah, thank you so much for coming on.
Yes, thank you for having me. I hope that you got good material out of it to make a good
Was this
episode.
fun? Did you have
This was
fun?
fun. Yeah, I loved it.
No,
Yeah.
it's great because we banter back and forth so well. And like honestly, it's a little tough because it's like virtual, but one day we'll get you in person, we'll get you on the couch. Well, hopefully I'll have like a pod lab at some point. I really want my own little like studio.
When you get the pod lab, let me know and I'll come visit my sister and we can do a podcast episode. That would be
Perfect.
super fun. All right.
Yeah,
Well, I just love you
love it.
so much.
I love you.
All right. You have the
Okay,
best night. I'm gonna go
you
make
too.
hamburger helper for dinner.
Sounds good. Okay, bye. I'll catch you guys next week on the new episode.
Hell yeah. All
Okay,
right.
bye.
See you later.